Okay, this is the, you can see the sign, Chautauqua Auditorium, built in 1902, Chautauqua Preservation Society. There is a Chautauqua Preservation Society of Waxahachie. And, but these meetings, the Chautauqua meetings were a special turn of the century event that happened in small towns. Chautauqua is a lake in New York. And at this lake, about 1870s, in the 1870s, a Presbyterian, a minister and a businessman set him up for Sunday school teachers to be taught at a special location, and it ended up finally going into self-help and kind of human improvement. And they had kind of following something called the Lycean movement, and so they were they had lectures from famous people, famous musicians come in, and all kinds of training classes. And so it caught on across the nation. So all these little towns like Waxahachie, may not have been a small town, but Mineral Wells, Texas had one too. And so they built this auditorium here. You see, it's built in 1902. It has those big doors. All those can open up all the way around the building so that air can flow through, because what did they not have in 1902? Air conditioning. So they'd have these buildings, these meetings. And so in the mornings, they'd have like a day-long meeting. In the morning, they'd have lectures from famous people, and in the afternoon they would have classes, and in the evening they'd have concerts. And they made a big event out of it, and a lot of these things came down from other places. At this particular one, William Jennings Bryan spoke, Will Rogers spoke, and Sousa, the Sousa Marches, was supposed to play. He didn't make it. It looks like he was scheduled and didn't come at this one here. So they used to travel around the nation. So anyway, it's still here, and they still use it. There was a meeting like in 2016 where the Chautauqua Preservation Society of Waxahachie had a meeting here, a day-long meeting with all kinds of different things going on. So they still use it. In fact, Chautauqua still meets in New York every year, and they have more humanist type things, of course. But it's supposed to be, the whole idea was human improvement. So they would have, I read one Chautauqua thing where they showed a magician that would show up along with dancing girls that were college girls, and they were supposed to kind of like modest and not crazy, and as they would say back then. And the odd thing about the magician, it said he was a kind of a Christian flavored magician, because magicians that went out oftentimes had Eastern or mystical ideas associated with their magic, and he would do a Christian presentation. So it was kind of like in the backwoods, in the out country of the United States. It was more of a family environment, more of a traditional environment, and more of something. But it was all self-improvement ideas and lectures and music, and evidently it did real well until about 1920, 1924, and that's when the railways started coming in better. Cars were more frequent, and people could travel to things, and so they didn't have to wait for big events to come to their town, and so it kind of diminished after that in the local areas. But like I say, there's still one going on in New York. So anyway, there you go. Chautauqua Auditorium, built 1902 here in Waxahachie, and being preserved as they had in other places.